So about a month ago, I released a video entitled Investing in Collectibles, and the hottest pop culture collecting market right now is vintage toys. And some of you out there took issue with this particular video because, of course, I didn't tell you that the hottest market is Pokemon cards or video games or insert your favorite collecting category here. Because on this channel, it's not hype driven. We keep it real. I tell you the truth as to how these markets are operating in the overall antiques and collectibles trade. And right now, I hate to say it, vintage toys is one of the hottest markets in the overall entire antiques and collectibles trade. Case in point, on May 31st of this year, Heritage Auctions had a Star Wars signature sale. Now, I want to be very clear here. When I say signature sale, it was geared towards Star Wars memorabilia. So there were toys, there were trading cards, there were props, there were posters, all auctioned off in this sale. And I do want to point out some of the high price points that a lot of these pieces sold for, because this sale alone broke a lot of auction records. And there's a lot of people that are reaching out to me asking me, Sean, what does this mean? Were there any shenanigans going on? Was there any hanky-panky going on behind the scenes? Honestly, in my full assessment, I just think it was uneducated buyers bidding this stuff up, paying a premium for it because they got caught up in the hype. And a lot of these buyers, I don't think they understood what they were buying. Case in point, we're going to go through some of these high-profile sales, and you're going to see that a lot of these buyers made some stupid mistakes, in my opinion. So there's 4 items I want to talk about specifically in this auction. We're going to start with the obvious, which is the record-breaking sale of the Star Wars prototype rocket-firing Boba Fett L-slot hand-painted figure in AFA 60, say that 10 times fast, that sold for a record-breaking price of $525,000. That includes the buyer's premium. And this is lot number 89154. Now, to be fair here, obviously, if we go back and we chart the price history of any type of rocket-firing Boba Fett prototype figure going back 5-10 years, you're going to see that this figure has increased substantially over the years, and there is a lot of demand for this item. Now, to be fair to vintage Star Wars action figure collectors, of which I identify as, this is one of the bona fide holy grails in all of Star Wars collecting. So I can see a premium being paid for this item. Does that mean I think it's worth $525,000 in a interest rate environment where you can get 5 to 6% just parking that money in a money market fund at present time? No, I do not. But apparently the person that bought this item does feel that it's worth $525,000 because that's what he paid for the item in question. Now, in all honesty, I can get past this. I know a lot of you are probably falling over with the price paid for this piece, but as I said, this is a holy grail piece. When they come up for bid, they do tend to do very well. Even if we go searching for what some of these pieces have sold for on Hakes, Hakes has gotten 6 figures easily for some of these items. So I can see this selling for $525,000, even though I don't agree with the price paid for this. I still think it's a very high price. It's a pie in the sky price. But regardless, I understand the scarcity, rarity, and demand of this item. So let's talk about now an item that really shocked me. And this really shows you that there's a lot of uneducated people operating in this market at present time. So let's talk about lot number 89167, which I'm also going to use as the thumbnail for this video. Lot number 89167 is a vintage carded Star Wars Boba Fett 21 back figure in AFA 95 condition. Now that is a very high grade for this item. The problem is, anybody who collects vintage Star Wars figures would have most likely avoided this item for several reasons. Number one, I'll give you the minor first. Then we'll go into the major issue with this piece. The minor issue is this is a very early graded example. How do I know this? Because if we look at the AFA grading label, it does not contain subgrades. This means this item was graded many, many years ago when AFA first came on the scene. Because if you currently send a vintage carded figure that's factory sealed to AFA for grading, they assign subgrades to the item. They will give you a numerical grade, like this is graded 95, but they will also break down the subgrades of the card back, the bubble, and the figure in question. For this piece, they didn't do it. They just assigned it a 95 standard grade. So what that means is this was graded a while back. But here's the major issue I have with this piece. If you look at the picture of this item, you're going to see that under normal circumstances, if you know anything about vintage Star Wars figures, this Boba Fett figure in particular, he's supposed to be holding his weapon, meaning in the bubble, he's supposed to be holding firmly his weapon. Well, guess what? If you look at this, you can see the weapon is loose inside the bubble. So if this item were to get sent back to AFA for grading or reholdering, it would not come back at 95. Now, here's the worst part. This item sold for $84,375, which includes the buyer's premium. Again, somebody almost paid $85,000 for this item, and it is not in the grade stated. This is a great example as to why I tell you guys to use caution if you're investing in vintage toys, if you're investing in vintage graded action figures. They are inherently unstable. Even in the grading enclosure, items can come loose, just like it did in this case. Now, let me give you some other examples of insanity. And I don't want to dwell on this. You guys can check the results for yourself. All you need is a free Heritage account. It's free to create an account if you don't have one. You can search through back auctions and you can see the price history of all this stuff. Do you guys remember the coveted Revenge of the Jedi poster? Revenge of the Jedi poster has been featured multiple times on Pawn Stars. I think it even turned up on Antiques Roadshow, if I recall correctly, even American Pickers. Well, a couple of years back, you used to be able to get these posters in near mint condition for roughly $500 to $1,500, depending on how much you were willing to pay. This lot number in this auction, lot number 89091, was for a Star Wars Revenge of the Jedi poster. Remember, they changed the name to Return of the Jedi. These posters were produced before that name change. So they did not hit distribution. They were released. Some people got them, but they didn't hit mass level distribution as a result. This poster is rolled in very fine near mint condition. It is a one sheet, 27 inches by 41 inches, and it's sold for $7,500. Now, full disclosure here. In my climate-controlled storage unit, are you aware I have two of these in near mint condition? I don't know if I should be doing a happy dance right now because I know, obviously, if I would attempt to sell these, I'm not going to get anywhere near $7,500 for these items. But that is an insane price to pay for something like this. Now, I know what my critics are going to say. If you do a price history of this poster, these particular items are on the up and up. The Revenge of the Jedi poster is something that has been slowly climbing in value over the years. But I do not think it is worth $7,500. That is an insane price for this item. That is an over-the-rainbow price. If somebody came to me and said, Sean, I want to bid in this auction. I'm thinking of going after this Revenge of the Jedi poster. What do you think I should safely pay for this? I would honestly tell them $2,000. If you really want it, $2,500 tops. If you see it soaring above $2,500, stay away in May, my friend. And this auction happened on May 31st. You should have been running away in May to save that amount of money. So $7,500 for this item is truly insane. Let's continue because there are some other surprising results. And I want to stick with the vintage Star Wars toy line. There's other things that are sold throughout this auction that are related to Star Wars memorabilia, trading cards and the like, a lot of props, a lot of other related items. You can check it out. You can see for yourself. Prices were through the roof. I do, however, want to talk about lot number 89173. This is a Kenner Toys Return of the Jedi Imperial Shuttle from 1984 that is graded by AFA in 85 condition. This item sold for $8,750. Now, you want to know something hilarious? If you log on to eBay, there is the exact similar Return of the Jedi Imperial Shuttle graded by AFA in 85 condition with an asking price of $5,000 and no takers. And I know what you're going to say. Well, Sean, what's shipping on that item? It's $200. So $5,200 plus tax. You can buy that item. Or instead of buying that item, someone chose to bid up this one to $8,750. And I did check. That item that is currently on eBay, that same exact item, the Imperial Shuttle, graded by AFA in 85 condition, was on eBay the day this auction took place. And somebody still bid at this item up through Heritage to $8,750. This tells me that there's a lot of Timmys, Kimmys, and Poindexters operating in this market that all they know is Heritage is the place to go for high-end collectibles. So a lot of these individuals do not know what they're doing. That's why when you guys keep asking me, was there anything going on behind the scenes, any form of market manipulation? In all honesty, I don't think so. And Heritage is a top-notch company. I want to state that. Heritage, for all the slack they get, they are a top-tier company. I know that's controversial. I know that's going to cause me to lose subscribers because a lot of you guys think everything's a conspiracy theory. When I talk about finance, a lot of you guys think that Vanguard is out there buying up residential homes, bidding up homeowners. Vanguard does not have a residential home buying division at their company. I'm sorry to tell you. A lot of you guys listen to conspiracy theories. Okay? What happened with the graded video game market is entirely different than this scenario right now. I want to make that very clear. These are not the same dynamics taking place. With graded video games, you had a new grading company enter the scene. And that was part of the problem. That's all I'm going to say. I can't go any further. There's a lawsuit pending with Wada Games still involved. I'm not going to go any further. But all is what I'm going to say is the dynamics of that market from what's happening here is completely different. Now let's talk about one more item here because I do want to hit on this. You guys know that I collect proof cards. There's actually a few Revenge of the Jedi proof cards in this auction. And the Luke Skywalker one went for $4,750. And it was graded by AFA in 85 condition. I want to give you some words of caution here, guys. Be very careful if you're paying an extreme premium for most of the Revenge of the Jedi proof cards. Revenge of the Jedi proof cards are not as scarce as a lot of other Star Wars proof cards. For instance, if you guys recall, maybe it's been about a year now on this channel, I held up an Empire Strikes Back Lobot proof card graded by AFA in 90 condition. Empire Strikes Back proof cards are much more harder to find than that of Revenge of the Jedi proof cards. Keep in mind, back when George Lucas changed the name of Revenge of the Jedi to Return of the Jedi, a lot of that merchandise that was already made that had the Revenge of the Jedi name on it, a lot of that got funneled through the Star Wars fan club back in the day. If you were a member of that fan club, you had an opportunity to buy a lot of this stuff really cheap, whether it was the Revenge of the Jedi posters that I just spoke of or even the proof cards. It is rumored, I shouldn't even say rumored, it's a known fact by now, that there are almost 50 of each Revenge of the Jedi proof card devoted to each character. So I just want to put that in your mind. I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but when we compare those numbers to Power of the Force proof cards, Empire Strikes Back proof cards, even Star Wars proof cards, it is a lot. So be very careful if you're going to pay an extreme premium for some of these proof proof cards. Now, obviously, if it's a Revenge of the Jedi Boba Fett proof card, you've hit gold. That would probably sell in today's market for tens of thousands of dollars. As a matter of fact, if it was placed in this auction, I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't sell for $25,000 or more at this point. Nothing surprises me anymore. So I wanted to go through this auction and give you guys my assessment. The crux of this video is there was really no wrongdoing. Giving the examples that I'm showing you guys and the rationale behind it, it's just a lot of uneducated buyers that are coming into this market who have more money than brains. And that is really my opinion on what's happening right now. Be very careful if you are choosing to invest in the vintage toy market, specifically the market for Star Wars collectibles right now. Prices are at all-time highs. I'm actually recommending a lot of clients of mine that have been collecting this stuff for decades, they start selling into the hype because it is insane what people are paying for some of these pieces. And again, the great unknown, when we talk about vintage toys, we do not know how they're going to hold up decades down the line. A lot of these pieces are already 40 years of age. They're already starting to deteriorate, as we're seeing firsthand. Some of these examples I'm showing you from this very auction. Weapons are coming out of the action figure's hand. Bubbles are yellowing. Whole 9 yards. Tape is drying out. If you're in this market, please use caution. At the end of the day, you would possibly be better off putting your money in another alternate collecting category. Pokemon cards, comic books, coins, currency. Another graded collectible aside from vintage toys. I know I'm going to get a lot of downvotes. I know that people are going to come in the comment section and cut me up for that advice, but I'm just telling you, be careful out there. Use caution. Bid with your head, not with your fingers. A lot of these buyers, they made a major mistake. They're going to get smacked in the face with a stale donut at some point in the future when they go to sell these items back into the market, especially the guy that paid a premium for that AFA 95 Boba Fett figure. I'm sorry to say, that dude got hosed, and he doesn't even realize he got hosed, most likely. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video.